Here he is, Hall of Fame inductee Andre Johnson with us in studio. Dre, congratulations. What a long time coming. You used the word closure in your press conference. And, first of all, congratulations. But what about that part of it? Because you've been waiting for this for a while.
Well, I think, when you've done so much, I think, because people always ask me, like, when did I know or when did I think I would be a Hall of Famer? I never really thought about it until I retired. And Chris Carter, me and him talked for a little while after he came to the house, and he was just like, everybody feels the same until you get that knock on the door. So when you get that knock on the door, it just separates you a little bit. So you're in a fraternity now inside of a fraternity.
Okay.
So it's a different feeling, man. It's something different about having the gold jacket.
Absolutely.
Andre, when you play the game of football, you just play sports in general, you do anything, you want to improve, you go run an extra 40, you do more reps in the weight room, you go catch 100 passes off the jugs gun. But this is one of those where you couldn't do anything. There's nothing more you could do. Did that make it more frustrating? The fact that, hey, there's nothing I can do. You can't go on this big PR campaign. You can't do any of this. You can't do extra reps like you do when you play the game. Did that make it more frustrating in some sense that there really was nothing you could do? You just kind of had to wait and let the committee pick you?
Well, for me, it wasn't frustrating at all because I had no control over it.
Right.
So it was never frustrating. I think for me, I always had the mindset I'll get in. It's just a matter of time.
Right.
Like I said earlier, me and Cal, and Hannah, and Travis were at the game the night before I got the knock. And Cal asked me, he was like, you think you got a shot this year? And I don't know, for some reason, my gut feeling was like,
yeah,
I think if any year is this year.
Mm-hmm.
When I looked at the finalist list, I was like, okay, it's me, Reggie, and Torrey Holt again.
Mm-hmm.
So you looked at, like, over the past 2 years, the guys that were selected, they hadn't been a receiver.
Yeah.
So I was like, at some point, they got to at least select one of us. Like,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So when I thought about it, I was like, you know what? This might be the year.
Yeah.
If not this year, then maybe next year. But I knew it was going to probably take about 3 years or so before it could happen.
Yep.
Andre, a lot of people ask you about your favorite plays and things like that, and the highlight reels are all running again for the last several days, and we've seen the great moments again. For me, you getting into Canton immortalizes that era of Texans football. And your teammates can share in this because there were so many great moments. And I know you didn't get as many wins as you wanted and that kind of thing, but there were some really sweet wins and great moments, and now they live forever in Canton.
Yeah, they do. And all the guys are, like, super excited. We have a group chat with all the former players. And after I got it was announced, I actually knew for about a week and a half before it was announced. So it's so hard to, like, hold that information in and not share it with nobody. But I put in the group chat, we're in the Hall of Fame. It wasn't not me.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So it wasn't just about me, man. I really, enjoyed sharing the field with those guys, and it ain't just me going in the Hall of Fame. They're going in the Hall of Fame with me. So just even, I've seen J. Joe. I got to see D'Amico right after it was announced. I mean, if you could have saw the reactions, man, like it was such a great feeling because, you get to share the field with those guys and go to battle with them. So it was just an exciting moment for everybody.
you kind of stole my thunder a little bit. That's what I was going to ask you about. When people get in the Hall of Fame, I got in, and you immediately said, and I saw right after, we're in the Hall of Fame. And there were so many people that wanted to feel a part of that. Your former teammates. This city wanted to be a part of you getting Hall of Fame. I don't know if people were more nervous about the playoff game than they were you getting into the Hall of Fame. What does this city mean to you, Andre, and the support that you've gotten from the fans and the people in the city that still wear your number 80 jersey, that still talk about your greatness and what you've meant to this organization?
It means a lot. I always say, like, I feel like Houston is the city that adopted me. And it's funny because even when I'm out and I could be around guys that I know and we talk about football and just hanging out and stuff like that, and they'll tell me, they're like, we know you're from Miami, but you're a Houston guy now.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I say, like, it's not just about me. And if you see the video that's on Texans page after it was announced, that was the first thing I said. I said, we are officially
Right.
in the Hall of Fame. So it's like I said, it's not just for me. It's for everybody, because when it was tough, they went through those tough years with me. So it's all paid off, and I'm sure everybody's. I haven't even really got to see a lot of people, since I've been back.
Sure.
But everybody's excited from the things I've been hearing, just from my friends and things of that nature. Is everybody's excited about it.
Is there another text thread on your phone with University of Miami guys? And how is that one going? Because a lot of those guys are in the Hall of Fame too.
Yeah, everyone is excited. Everybody was congratulating me. The funny thing, I don't know, like when I walked out on the stage and I was laughing so hard because Michael Irvin was sitting right in front of where I was standing at, like, and he was so, like, he was fist pumping and everything, like, and I think what happened was he saw me walk out, and then he realized that Devin Hester was on there, so he was like, if you read his lips, he's like, we got two guys going, like, so he was pumped up. I got to see Ray Lewis Wednesday night when I got there, and it was funny because he knew, and he was like, man, I got to talk to you. He was like, we're going to talk in like 2 weeks. I'm going to call you. He was like, I got something I want to talk to you about. And when all the guys, Hall of Famers come on stage afterwards.
Yep.
He came up and he was just dying laughing. And he was
He
like,
knew and you knew, but you couldn't admit that you both knew.
Yeah, so he was dying. Like, he was like, this is what I wanted to talk to you about. So, but man, it was great, man. It was a great moment. It was a great feeling just to be around those guys.
Andre, have you ever been to the Hall of Fame? Have you been to Canton? Have you ever made that trip?
No.
Have you thought about what it's going to be like when you walk into that room that's got all the busts of all the Hall of Famers, and then there you are amongst all of them? I've heard somebody say, and I can't remember who said this, maybe it was John Madden, that he envisions when the lights go down, it turns into like a Hall of Fame Toy Story where they all like start talking to one another. Have you kind of thought about that moment of seeing all the different busts of Ray Lewis, of Ed Reed, and then to see there's yours?
No, I haven't really thought about it. I'm actually going to Canton the beginning of March. That'll be my first time going. I remember John Madden saying that he believes that the bus speak to each other.
Right.
Once the lights go off. It's only 378 people.
Right.
That are in the Hall of Fame, and I think there are some conversations because if you just look at who's in that, the bus that are in that room, it's the best of the best.
Yep.
And I tell people now I'm a part of the greatest football team ever assembled.
Yep.
I love you telling stories about Curtis Johnson and Larry Kirksey because they coached you directly. And here you are going into the Hall of Fame now officially. And I guess the message must be to everybody in all walks of life, but especially to young players. It's about the day-to-day, isn't it? All the work you put in on a daily basis with those coaches, those mentors, and whatever else you put into it.
Yeah. I tell people all the time, like, I never traveled when I played. So I had a 14-year career. The furthest I ever went was to the Bahamas. And that's 45 minutes to an hour from Miami. So I never traveled. I never went anywhere. I always felt like I had to be working. And with that, it just takes a lot of sacrifice. You know, it takes a lot of work. And that's just what I always felt like I had to be doing. I didn't want to feel like anybody, you know, outworked me or got ahead of me. So I just always, I don't care if I went out to a club, like my friends would be like, man, you want to work out? I was like, yeah, y'all was asleep. You know, it was just something that I knew I had to do to stay on top of my game and be the best player I could be.
One more for you, the passage of time, because I first saw you almost 25 years ago, 1999. My first day as voice of the Hurricanes was at that scrimmage at the soccer stadium. Remember that one? You're wearing number 5, going off, and I'm like, who's that? Well, he's probably not playing this year because we got Santana Moss and Reggie Wayne and Darryl Jones and all those guys. And 25 years later, you're going to get inducted.
Yeah.
It's been quite a quarter century.
Yeah, it has. I don't think back then I even thought I would be in this position. I was saying earlier that CJ, you know, my receiver coach, Curtis Johnson, he used to tell me, he was like, man, if you just listen to what I tell you, you'll be a top 5 pick. He used to tell me that all the time. And when I really bought into what he was teaching and showing me, everything just kind of took off for me. It was crazy because it's crazy just how things happen. I hadn't talked to him in a few months, and he actually called me the day I got the knock.
Whoa.
Oh, just coincidentally.
Just coincidentally. He called me.
Whoa.
And and I thanked him. Like, I was like, man, thank you so much. Like, because he was like, man, because they changed it to the UFL now or something.
Yeah.
So he's the head coach, you know, for the UFL team. And he was in town doing media. And he was like, man, everybody just loves you. Like, they asked me about you, you know, when I was doing. And I told him, I said, man, CJ, I wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for you. Like, and I thanked him. And then later on that evening, I got the knock. So it was just kind of crazy how all that just kind of happened.
That's great. Andre, thanks so much for joining us. We know we have a lot more celebrating to do, but thanks a lot for this visit.
Appreciate it.